Holy smoke. Sorry about that, everybody. I will wait a minute or two. I lost my entire audience, man. I had people there, and then I apparently did the wrong stream. Boy, that was I'm gonna wait a minute. It was technical difficulties. Embarrassed about that. Good morning. Good morning. That one was terrible. That lasted, what, about 2 seconds? Let's go ahead and just delete that. I don't want that mistake out there for long. Good, I got 2 people back. Good morning. Sorry about that. You know, you'd think I'd be better with this whole streaming thing. I'm using StreamYard, and there's a button up here that I thought was to go live, and it is. And my screen was still black, so I hit it again, but it actually says end broadcast if you hit it twice. So that is what happened. So I lost my audience there. I can now see how I can move people around. Now I'm starting to learn the StreamYard thing. Well, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much. Forgive the technical difficulties. This is day 4, really, and week 1 of our daily live. So we're going to iron out all the kinks. Going to get better as we go. I'm definitely enjoying this more and more. I actually am looking forward. Like last night I was going to bed and I was actually thinking about what am I going to talk about tomorrow. And I got a pretty good mix for you today. We're going to go over some quick highlights and updates. We're going to talk about the national PSA grading, a star stock review that I watched. I'm going to talk a little bit about some cool hits I saw. Yesterday was Gary's NFT day. First time I've managed to catch this live. Hey, man, thanks for joining, John. I really appreciate it. Cheers to you, sir. Correction time versus lack of experience. Oh, yeah, we're talking about corrections. And we'll end with a little bit of NFT stuff on Top Shot. So, in the news, I guess the big news yesterday was probably PSA sent their little note out to everybody. And it really wasn't big news. It was nothing special. I saw 2 videos where one person read the letter and kind of went over it. The other one kind of talked about it. The one thing I will say is it's kind of funny. It's like PSA has so much influence in the hobby. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody pauses and stops and reads their letter and, you know, starts to read between the lines. Like I guess the big argument yesterday was people have been saying since the closing, oh, PSA is going to get caught up on the backlog. PSA is going to get caught up on the backlog. I said from the very beginning, they're not getting caught up on the backlog. No magic. They're not using technology yet, guys. Like no magic wizard came in and said, poof, these are all 9s and 10s overnight. They have, if estimates are correct, millions of cards they have to go through in a short period of time. Unless they were given bonuses maybe to people to grade. You know, we talked about yesterday how much they pay the graders. Did the graders get more money when they raised prices? But the letter really talked about the fact that they expect to be caught up on entry, and that they hinted to returning some of the service levels by July 1st. Now, again, I've said this from the beginning. I never thought they were going to turn everything back on. Like a lot of people are waiting for group subbing, right? That's probably the most economical. There's a lot of subgroups that do this. And the question is, when are the group subs going to be able to start sending the PSA? And that's still an unknown. It looks like we won't know till July 1st. I'm going to suggest it's going to take longer, right? I think I've talked about in some videos, right? I'll talk about this live now. It's funny. If you guys follow South Park, I'm a South Park fan, and there's an episode in there where Cartman wins I think $1 million, and he uses the money to buy Adventureland because he hates lines, right? Cartman hates lines. He doesn't want lines. He wants the whole park to himself. So he buys the park, and he doesn't want anybody in there, right? He doesn't want to share it with anybody. He just wants it all for himself. And then he starts realizing he has to let people in, you know, to pay for certain things like maintenance and security and whatnot. I bring that up because I feel like that's PSA. Right? Somebody bought PSA because like, look, I hate lines. I want all my stuff to be graded, right? And if you're wealthy, you can still use Express. Express is available for $300. Sorry about dropping you guys earlier, Matthew. Thank you for joining. So I have been suspect of the whole PSA acquisition, the whole PSA, you know, only for elite. because as somebody who's been in the hobby a while, I just remind you, PSA was not the dominant player a few years ago, okay? And I'm talking just a few years ago. Like probably 3 years ago, most people are using BGS, which I'll just go on a side note here. Where the hell is BGS? I think that's their biggest mistake. It's like, is anybody work for BGS anymore? I've seen people on the authentication side. They are alive. Like they didn't get zombied or something, but maybe the whole grading group, something happened. I don't know. Were they abducted? Like there's not even a freaking word at BGS. The top cards in the world, the $1 million cards that have been selling on all these auctions, a majority of them are BGS. And you would think they would do some marketing about that, right? I could do a great commercial. Hey, you're looking to flip cards? PSA is the easy way to go. But if you've got a real card, you want a real slab to grade it, go BGS. Subgrades, in sealed card, thicker case. I mean, come on. I could do a commercial for BGS. Where are you, BGS? That leaves room, and we're talking this whole PSA thing, right? That leaves room for competition. Last night, I did catch the episode. Excuse me. Not Corona, don't worry. I caught the episode with Carson and Costa Rica on with Andy. I loved it last night. I know there's a lot of resistance. It's funny. As I watch the newer graders come into this, TGA, Carson's group, Black Mamba, they are taking more criticism and heat than HGA ever did. And maybe that's what the other guys should have done. Maybe they should have just been quiet and just popped up on the radar, because HGA pops up one day, and I'll be honest, I sat there going, yeah, this is going to fail. And not that I was against the technology or the card, because I am all for the technology. I love their mission, but I thought for sure people would come, just pop their balloon. But it blew up. So now we have options. More people have come to the market and said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna take a tackle this too. And there's all these skeptics. I don't understand. Like, let me ask you this. Does anybody here use StarStock? Right? If you use StarStock, you send your card to them and they grade it for you. They give it a StarStock A, B, and C. And whether you like it or not, if you're using StarStock, you accept that grade, right? You accept the A, B, and C grade. You know it impacts you financially, right? And who is a StarStock grader? It's just some dude who's sitting in the back looking at the cards going, A, B. I'm sure they've tightened it. I know they've tightened it. I know they have stronger grading. But my point is, we put trust in all sorts of companies to tell us the condition of cards, but yet we're going to critique some guys who want to now get in that business because of what? Because their wizards aren't wizardry enough? I don't know. I don't understand that. So I will say, I'm not endorsing anybody. I don't endorse card companies or anything like that, but I am looking at these alternative solutions. I am looking forward to trying Pure Graded X. I'm looking forward to trying TGA. Also, part of it is I'm not doing this because I'm trying to make the most money or the most return. I'm looking at it because I got some cards I like to grade that my kids can take and play with, and they can have them in their house and they can put them in their room, and I'm not worried about it. And 5-10 years from now, if we have that card and it's worth a lot of money, it's going to be protected. I know that. Okay. I don't know if that grading company is going to be the best. Who cares? I know the card in 10 years from now will be protected. And I think that's because look at my cards from the 80s. They're not protected. I'll stop on the PSA thing, but I will say they've also mentioned Gemma. And as they sit there talking about Gemma, and they got you distracted over here paying attention to it's submission times. The whole Gemma thing is, I think, great because, again, like I said, it's the beginning of technology being the solution of the future. So I'm super, super excited for that. Matthew, let me know if you have do videos or have Instagram. Please share your pictures. Please let us know. And I'll also say to anybody who's joining my live, you're welcome to share comments. Promote your own page, promote your own stuff. As long as you treat each other with respect, I don't care what goes on in the chats here, guys. Make it interactive. I like to collaborate. I'll also look at the chat later on and find it if I'm following you and stuff too. So please, interact as much as you can. I love that. I love chats that allow that type of activity. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is the National. 1 second here. I gotta close the door. I left the door open for my dogs, and it's just a little too chilly for me. Okay, it's like 40-something degrees here this morning on May 6th. The National. So I read an article, Sports Collectors Daily. It looks like the venue that's going to hold the National is targeting to open July 1st, right? And the National is going to be held end of July. So it looks like things are lining up. They will announce on June 1st whether it's going to happen or not. It's interesting. I have mixed feelings about this. I have not committed to it yet. It's hard for me to take that much. It's so funny. I do a lot of stuff online, but it's hard for me to take that much time and leave my environment and go travel somewhere for cards. So I don't know if I'm going to go. Also, the timing is interesting. I was kind of hoping for a delay. I won't lie to you. I think in the back of my head, I was hoping for a delay. If it is in July, I'm also curious how people will go. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people. I'll put it this way. When I think of why I want to go, the only reason I want to go is really to meet people. It's not that I'm going there because, man, I want to buy some cards, or boy, I want to sell some cards. That the buying and selling part actually have little, if anything, to do with the interest of me going to National. You know, which I think is kind of weird, but it's the truth. If I go to National, it's really just to meet people. So maybe I'd go for a day. I'll have to think about it. But I did want to announce that it looks like it's back on track. We will know by June 1st. So what is today? May 6th, right? May 6th. So, you know, in a few weeks, we're going to know where the National stands. And as soon as that date gets picked, I think you're going to see a big reaction. Now, again, you're going to have, I think every sports card investor in the world is going to be there, right? Everybody's going to buy, sell, trade, and they're all going to YouTube. So it should be a great week of content too. So maybe I'll do a show, you know, remotely reviewing the content coming out of there. I don't know. We'll take a look. Reminds me of last year when they did the virtual. Matthew's trying TGA and pure grade A. I agree, man. Also, I'll say this too. Until you try somebody, you shouldn't critique somebody, right? If a store opens up and you say, man, that's the worst store in the world. That store's garbage. That store's terrible. They got a terrible bathroom. Did you ever go in the store? Like, did you meet the owner? Right? I kind of like that. Like I said, I am all about the entrepreneur. I dropped a video yesterday about my NFT project, all about just entrepreneurs. Make some money, make some business, spread the love, creativity. So I'm happy to hear that. Let me move on. Talked about National, talked about PSA. Oh, let me talk about a really good review I watched yesterday. So on my some of the YouTube channels that were highlights to me yesterday, I will do a quick shout out for Chase's autographs. I'll drop the link below later on. Chase is one of the young men I met who does retail. Chase's retail in the area. He's a college kid. He bought a box of the Trevor Lawrence and he pulls the Trevor Lawrence auto. Super, super excited to see that, man. That is just awesome. It's apparently 1 in 5. That's not as bad of odds as I thought. In fact, looking back to myself and thinking, if I knew that, you should just buy 5 boxes. I mean, you're getting an auto for $100 or $150. I think the boxes were 20 or 25 bucks when they came out. It is, you know, it's not non-licensed, but it's not NFL, if that makes sense. But they're really cool cards. If anybody's looking for one, Chase is selling it. I'm thinking about purchasing it. I just don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on that. I'm definitely a fan of the Trevor Lawrence this year. I'm definitely chasing him. Good morning, John. Thank you for joining. You like the PSA Cartman theme. Thank you. I mean, I agree, dude. I'm the kid sitting out there going, Cartman, can I get a ride? And Cartman's like, no. It's $300. No subs for you. Okay, Run Good Life. If you haven't followed Run Good Life, please check him out. He's one of the most popular YouTubers out there. I've been a fan of him for over a year. What I liked about him, he breaks cards, and I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of watching people rip cards. It's just not exciting to me, unless it's my cards. But watching other people do it, two voices in my head. One is sitting there going, oh, I hope he gets nothing. And the other one's sitting there going, oh, that's really awesome. The one that says, I hope he gets nothing, I don't know why that voice is there, but come on, don't you have a little voice in your head sitting there going, watch him get skunked? Because I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I've got the devil and the angel in my head all the time. The devil's a small voice, but I do find myself sometimes going, oh, because I don't know. Never mind. Okay. So I watch all these breaks, and what I liked about Run Good Life is not only does he break the cards, but then he talks about the process of selling. So last year he would sell on ComC. He would break retail products. He'd talk about it, and then he'd show you what he sold it for in CMOC. And he was doing really well. Big time COMC guy, big time, retail chaser, very fun, great energy. Recently he went into breaking. Now he does breaking, which it's just not my interest as much anymore. I'll tune in when I see him on. I'll listen. I follow his breaks. I like him. I love his energy. He's just he's a good guy. My whole point to this is that he recently did a review on StarStock. Now I remember reaching out to him about StarStock last year and saying, man, you got to check this out, because I saw him using ComC. I'm like, you're going to like StarStock. And he did. And it's interesting because this was his part 2, and he talked about it months ago when he did his part 1, but he did bring in and he did similar to what I did. He sent them like thousands of cards. I think like 4,000 cards. And as he said, he goes, well, it was a rookie card in the class. I just sent it to him. I didn't think about who it was. I just wanted to get it out and sell it, which is exactly what I did. I didn't rank whether they're good rookie or bad rookie, just any rookie. And that is why, in my opinion, StarStock has changed the policy to 25 cents, because too many of us did that, right? We just sent them everything I got a lot of cards at StarStock that are really worthless. What I hope they do eventually is let me donate those or drop them off the service system. I don't want them back, and I don't want to waste their space. So I think a donation option will be in the future. But anyway, he's talking about that. Everything he's saying about StarStock, I totally agree with. He goes in talking about one of the biggest issues that I have with them, and he points it out in his video, is how if I'm selling cards, and when I sell in ComC and StarStock, unlike some people who are trying to profit, like they buy and they raise the price, I'm racing to the bottom, right? I'll put the price at $1. Oh, I'm not the lowest. I'll be 95 cents now. Oh, it got lower. I'm 90 cents. I'm just trying to get rid of the card to get cash, right? And he pointed out in the video in StarStock, that is a nightmare. Okay, if you have a card and you set the price and the price gets dropped, you got to go back. It is a nightmare. In fact, to add to that, what I see happening in StarStock, I'll price the card for $100. Okay, and I'll see there's an active offer around 50. And then a guy will put in, it's easy, or another guy will put an offer in for, I don't know, 75. So he's meeting me halfway. Now, for me to go back and meet him halfway, I got to come in, delete the $100 one, and then add, the $87.50 one, which takes a lot of time. And I think sometimes you lose the interest, right? Because they see it get deleted, and then you got to put a new one up. I don't know, just the process there has to be streamlined. I will say I talked to somebody about this in the past, and it really has to do with the architecture and the platform they're using. I think it's Google Docs or Google App. It's just not good for scaling and what they're going to need to do. So I really love the video. If you haven't checked it out, great information, great feedback on how to use StarStock. Any comments? He's not negative on them. He's not saying not to use them. There's a great reason to use them. It's just he wants some improvements, as I do. And again, what I'll say is that StarStock, if you're not using, has great capability. Like I said, first of all, it's a great place to track what card you should be buying. If it's not on StarStock, don't buy it, right? Actively on StarStock too. Like they have draft cards on there. I don't know. Draft, I'm not a fan of, although I know Prism Draft football is going to be fire this year. There'll be cards breaking records in that because of the class. They won't hold those values, but they'll break records. Okay, so again, check out the review on StarStock. We're up here at about 17 minutes. I'm going to try to keep this under 30. Okay, next thing I want to talk about real quickly. Gary Vee did his announcement yesterday, the NFTs. Now, I'm not going to knock. It didn't go off. Apparently, there was some problems with the servers. They're going to do it today. They're running some Dutch oven auctions on the items. But I will say, here's my thought on it. He did reveal it. It's called VeeFriends, VeeFriends.com. The easiest way I can summarize this is it's a expensive Patreon channel, right? Very expensive Patreon channel. And I don't mean that negatively, but that's the way I look at it, is that you join this group, this VeeFriends, by buying into tokens, crypto tokens with Ethereum. So I take Ethereum, I buy crypto tokens, and then I get access like I would on a Patreon channel based on my level to Gary Vee. And some of the things are damn cool. I won't lie to you. I think I think he advertised, go see the Knicks with Gary Vee. Any one of those opportunities I think would be awesome. I mean, just as a person who's been in business and, have a life experience, those are priceless opportunities when you can network, meet somebody, press the flesh, as they say, hand to hand or whatever. So I'm not going to critique in a negative way. I'm going to applaud that it's the first practical use I've seen of an NFT. Not the first, maybe, but maybe the first complicated practical use of how they're going to do it. So it's interesting. And I'll also say this too. I don't know if it's too expensive. I don't. It seems like the barrier to entry on Ethereum is like $3,500, right? 3 Ethereums, basically, you're spending $11,000. If I'm 20-something years old, and if I had access to $11,000, can Gary Vee change my path by that investment? There are a lot more expensive investments in education and access than $11,000. I don't know. I'm just thinking here outside the box, to be honest with you. I found it interesting. One thing I will say is I think it puts a damper on some of the crypto hype in the sports world, right? Like Top Shot and NBA. And so I think people are realizing this isn't the stock market, right? This isn't hyper accelerated. Let's buy a card and flip it for $500. I think that hype was going to slow down, as it should, right? I mean, I do believe that. I think, and I'm not being negative, but the people in Top Shot who sell these astronomical prices on their moments that were NFTs, I don't think that will ever happen again. And I'm not against it. I just don't think it will. And we'll see. Other sports will be coming out. There'll be other hype cycles. There'll be barriers of entry. But I do like, I guess in summary, come back to Gary Vee's project. I do like it. I'm not against it. I'm not going to participate. I have no interest in it. I'm not going to tell you to participate in it. I'm going to watch and listen. I will say my project that I announced yesterday with doing content creators and creating NFTs and letting them give them away, they could do a similar thing. In fact, I'm thinking about doing the same thing. Maybe I'll give NFTs for certain experiences, right? In fact, here's a great idea, content providers. You could issue NFTs to people who you come to your channel, right? So if you've been interviewed, you get an interview channel. I don't know. Jeremy could do a Sports Card Live NFT that, hey, then he can mint the night that you're on there, the thumbnail of the guest, and mint 20 NFTs of, hey, I had blah 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 blah. I mean, there's a couple cool uses for NFTs. They don't have to be monetarily driven. I think that's another thing people need to realize. What we're doing is we're creating unique pieces of digital artwork or unique digital items that you can then trade, collect, exchange, do whatever you want with. I'm learning a lot more in that. I'm super excited. I mean, I am going to be dropping my own NFTs in the future. I'm looking at how to do drops. I'm looking at how to do packs. I'm looking at the whole thing. I'm just learning what I can. I'm really enjoying it. But again, back to Gary Vee. It's interesting to me. I'm curious to see where things go. I will say I think he felt guilt some yesterday. I saw him on some videos how he realizes the expense. Like when he was telling people about Ethereum, it went up a lot, and the barrier to entry for a lot of the young people is higher. I think he's going to give away some items as well. One final thought I had on this, though, I will say, if you follow Gary Vee, and I know many people do, one thing that I had always liked about him, it seemed that anyone could get access to him if you were fortunate or you were persistent, right? You get on the Tea with Gary Vee show, or you could get on, he could respond to you on Instagram. I do think that accessibility will decline now, right? Since people are now paying for accessibility, the free accessibility is going to drop. And that might be a bad thing, right? I don't know if he must have thought that out, right? He has to know that if you put a premium on something that I'm currently giving away for free, then the access to free becomes harder and more scarce. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to wrap this up here. Correction time. I've seen a lot of videos, and I posted a video probably about a week ago on me declaring that I think a sports card correction is coming. I didn't declare how much. I didn't say it's the end of the world. I didn't say that's really horrible. But I do believe there's a correction. I'm going to do another video on this probably in a few weeks when my other video hits its 1 year mark. And the video I'm referring to is the 10 theories on sports cards, because we're breaking all the rules, right? And I go over in that, and we'll review a year later what my comments were then and what they are today. As an example, I am not a fan of these first product cards. Like, just because Prism was 2012, I don't think that you should go out and buy all the 2012 cards. I think it's an iconic set because of what it did to the hobby, its impact, but I don't know if I'd go spend a ton of money on those cards or first Optic cards. I think that's funny. Oh, this is the first year of Optic. Okay, so what? A lot of first years of cards are their only year because they get discontinued. So I'm not a fan of that. I was talking to somebody yesterday, I'm not a fan of second year player cards at all. At all. I mean, I understand there's some value there, right? Oh, Jordan, second year cards worth $1,000. Great. If I had one, I would sell it and I'd buy somebody's rookie card. I have no interest, absolutely all, in a second year card. Because, like, I'll just put it this way. When I was having drinks with this guy a few weeks ago, we were talking about sports cards, and I was talking about cards I had. He didn't ask me, hey, what second year cards do you have? He said, what cool rookie cards do you have? That's just the conversation. No one cares. I'm just sorry. I'm ranting on it. It's not important, but I'll go over that video later on. Correction. A lot of people preaching about, is it a correction? And it's funny. As I listen to it, I realized, first of all, most of them are making money off the hobby in some way, right? They got a channel with Patreon members. They're selling some platform, whatever it is. They're talking about it and telling you it's not happening, right? They're correcting the correction. They're making you feel sure. Hey, things are good. We've got these peaks and valleys. We had a dip. This is another dip before the hyper acceleration. It's going to take off. Man, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to say no. I don't agree with you. I forget who it was. I want to give credit to Wax Museum, but it might not have been. But somebody did say, gosh, I wish I knew who it was. Most of the people in sports cards, like let's just take round numbers. If the number was 1, and because of the recent influx of sports cards, it went up by 4x, and now the number is 4. Okay, 1 in 4 people have experienced a true dip. 3 in 4 people don't even know what it is. They don't. Like I said yesterday, I was talking earlier in the week about how Panini got the basketball license. Guys, they got the basketball license because basketball was failing. Think about that for a moment. What? Wow. What? Yeah. Basketball was failing. In 2010, 11, 12, basketball products were not doing well. And basketball was in jeopardy. And that's why the NBA did give exclusivity. And Panini did a lot to kind of revitalize that stuff. But if you and right now we look back at that era and go, oh, there's some great rookies in that year. Wasn't that, Stephen Curry and KD was in whatever. I'm just telling you guys, that's a real dip. There was also another major dip, I'd say, in 2015, 16. Karl Anthony Towns was the best rookie in the class, and the class sucked. It was just a tough year. Lonzo Ball, in fact, I'll tell some funny stories later on. I'll tell you the story about Prism being saved by Ben Simmons maybe tomorrow. But I would say that Lonzo Ball's father really had more impact on the hobby than maybe Gary Vee did, or maybe as much. It's hard to say and when you're like, Ziggy, what the hell are you talking about? But you have to understand, in 2017, how many times did you see Lonzo Ball's father preaching on show after show after show? My son's better than Curry. My son's the best. He was the best marketing person in the business. And what that did, that brought more and more attention to who is this Lonzo Ball, right? Who is he? He's on the Lakers. Wow, he's a Laker. Magic, they just drafted him. I mean, this guy's saying he's going to be the next Curry. And then if you're following the hobby, his father starts doing autographs. His father has autographs in the product line because we were eating it up. We were eating it up. And that was 2017. That started the Prism craze on retail. Before that, you could find retail whenever you wanted to. In 2017, the red boxes, man, were snagged like there was no tomorrow. It was the first rush. Let me see. What do I want to close on here? Okay, so correction time. Again, I'm saying there is. What does that mean? I'm not going to tell you what it means because I don't know. To me, it means I'm moving my assets from one thing to another. Okay. I'd rather have NFTs. I'd rather have sealed wax, and I'd rather have numbered cards. That's what I would tell you, right? How you get there, I don't know. But I will tell you this: you're not going to get the same premiums we were getting, in my opinion, on some of these cards. It's just there's not as many people that are into it anymore. And that's not a bad thing, guys. You can still make. Who was it? God, it's coming to me on who these people were. I think it was Sports Card Radio, Sports Something Radio. The way people have been making money in the hobby for the last 20 years is by buying and selling for more, but not 100% or 200%, but like 20 or 30% more. That's a great profit. It really is. Buy a card for $1, sell it for $1.20, right? Take out your little margin, work your business, move your stuff up. There's not a lot of businesses like that. Okay. So there's a lot of ways you make money in the hobby and have fun. Okay. Last thing I'll close on. COVID cough. Just kidding. Well, and if there's any questions, let me know. Hey, another quick thing I'll mention. I have two things to close on. I'm working on a series. What if you could talk to the CEO? So if you have questions, you would ask the CEO of, say, Beckett, Panini, Topps, Upper Deck, PSA, BGS. Think about who they are and put up and list some questions. And maybe I'll do a post later on. What questions would you ask these companies if you could, like, for example, why will you not disclose print runs? I want an answer. Don't tell me about some bullshit recipe and it being your intellectual property. I want a real conversation with somebody of why you will not disclose print runs. And here's another question I'd ask you too. Are print runs even known by the company? Like, for example, do you even know the print run? Like, is there anybody in the company at Panini that can tell you how many Prism cards are run? Or do you not even know yourself? Right? Is that a fair question? Because what I'm thinking is there's got to be some safe, right, that's got the list of all the print runs of every product that someday will leak out and you're going to look back and go, holy crap. But maybe I'm wrong, right? Did we ever get the print runs from the 80s and 90s? Probably not. We just assumed we saw that they were printing damn Ken Griffey cards over and over and we knew it. So think about that. What questions would you ask CEOs? Can I talk a little more about number cards? So damn cough. What I'm referring with number cards is that the true serial numbered cards numbered to 199, 299, 499. I would rather have those in my collection over a long period of time than silvers and shinies. I think silvers and shinies are BS, right? If you're going to have a card without an auto or a relic on it, make sure it has a serial number on it. That's just my thoughts. And that's not some magic. That's why serial number cards are expensive. It's funny. I remember back in the day when I'd get a card like $4.99. I think to myself, $4.99. That's not very special. 49 is a big number. Now in this big scheme of things, 49 is a damn small number, right? I mean, 49 is not very many people. Okay, closing. Top Shot. If you're not in Top Shot and you're interested in getting in Top Shot, I think now's a good time to try. And I'm not going to preach you. First, I'm not telling you to do Top Shot as an investment, okay? I would not tell you to do that. What I would tell you is I think it's a very affordable and fun way to enjoy it, because they're right now doing a pack a week. It's what they're calling pre-registered packs, where basically if you're a member and you register, you're guaranteed a pack, or pre-drops or whatever. I also like their queuing system. So with that being said, if you became a member, you can get a pack every week. You will have some challenges getting some of the higher value packs, right? They'll have some obstacles to get to those. But if you're just truly a collector and you enjoy the hunt, I think it's fun. And I'll say this too: their pack prices are very affordable. $9, $14 for these weekly packs. You can put together a simple budget and enjoy that. And not that I think it's an investment. I do think that means the average moment will be about $3 a moment. So I think you could actually open the pack, sell the pack, make your money back, open another pack, sell the pack. You can continue to do that every week, right? And just kind of until you find the players you like, or you could collect and hodl them, right? But I do think, I know a lot of people were pushed off by it and, are annoyed by it. But let me also say it is not an investment opportunity. In fact, what's really, I think, shocking to me is there's so many of these channels on NBA Top Shot, so many of them, who sit there talking about how they want to get the flipper out and they want to make sure that the collector, but they're also so focused on their value. And they also don't seem to understand that this is a declining asset right now. I mean, they are going to continue to pump out moments. They're going to make as many moments as they can. There's also no limit to how many moments they can make, right? There's no template of how many products they have. They can make a product every week. They remind me a lot of Panini right now. They also announced they're going to auction off high-level moments, which kind of annoyed me. They're not going to be in packs. It looks like it's going to be harder to get good cards in packs. Like, it looks like they're going to just basically print a whole bunch of hoops packs, and every now and then you're going to get a chance at an NT pack, if that makes sense. But I do think, again, I'm enjoying Top Shot. I'm enjoying the showcasing and the playing with my players and building my teams. And I like the NFT. I'm also a member because I think if you're going to critique it, you should be using it. I hope they do some things. Like, I wish that I could put my NBA Top Shot guys on my phone. I wish I could trade my NBA Top Shot guys for sports cards. I wish there was an interoperability. I hope there's more coming. I'm excited about what the UFC is going to be doing. So we'll have to see. But again, if you're interested, I think it's a good time to get into the Top Shot product. I think it's easier to get in, and then there's accessibility to the packs. If you have questions or anything, let me know. I'd be happy to help out. As far as the Topps product, I don't know about that. That seems to me, I will see NBA Top Shot guys do a great job of every week. They do a phone conference where they're talking to people. Maybe the best communication of any company right now in the hobby is Top Shot, how they're communicating with the public. There's some concerns I have, but they do a good job. I wish Topps had better communication. Like, for example, I have no idea what they're doing with NFTs. Are they going to do more Series 1? Are they going to move on to Bowman or Heritage? Are they going to do Series 2? Are they going to do Chrome? What is their plan? That would all be critical to know. And I'm fearful that they'll just print a whole bunch, mint a whole bunch more, and just flood this market as well. They have, in my opinion, Topps has, in my opinion, the ability. If I was Topps, I would just mirror their NFTs with their major product lines and keep those NFT mints to a low number, like under 2 million of each product. And I think you would then, after this year, pull in some collectors, because that would have some collectability. If there was an entire year of Topps NFT products that were mapping some of their sports card products, to me, I think that'd be fun. Like I said, I'm looking at my Top Shot. I don't have a lot of Top Shot moments. I definitely don't have enough to create a set, but I'm creating some collections. I'm storing away some players, and I'm gonna start thinning the herd on other ones. And that's my MLBs. So I've gone longer than I wanted to. There were some questions. Oh, I saw one about how long do you think sports cards stay like this? I don't think they're going to return like they were at the peak. Like, I just don't see that. And I'll go into this a little bit longer. There's a few examples that we seem to hold on to as if the card is going to be the next one. And that perfect example is Giannis. Everybody thought that, a Giannis was a base Prism card that was graded, and it was a PSA 10. It was worth $1,000, and it was worth several $1,000s. And then Luka did that. Luka went up. I don't know, and you correct me if I'm wrong, how many Prism base cards in PSA 10 have broke the $1,000 mark and are holding it now? I think only two. I think it's the Giannis and the Luka, and I don't think they're going to hold it because, and there's a lot of reasons for this, right? Pop counts, opportunities, lack of people. Like, I'll put it this way: how many collectors really want to have a PSA 10 base rookie card? I don't think a lot. They're going to want to have, a silver at the minimum, or a numbered card, or an autograph. So, good morning, Texas Card Dude. I got to switch over and catch your show in a little bit. So I don't know. I just don't think we're going to see those levels again. I could be wrong. Part of it is you have to understand, in order for that to happen, we need certain environmental things to happen to cause this flux. Last year with COVID and shutdown and lack of sports, there was a lot of things that forced this bottleneck of money and attention in sports cards. There is nothing in the foreseeable future that would ever do that again. Like, even another COVID outbreak, I think we're more prepared, and we would still find alternatives to being that isolated and that focused in as we were last year. So I think that was just a perfect storm moment. So, and then how do the price do that? How price you do that? Oh, when will they turn it? Well, if you look at the old norm, and when I think the norm, I think of like 16 and 17. The norm is that basically every year there's, in my opinion, every sport has one rookie worth holding on to that will hold its value. That was the old norm for me. I'm probably wrong on that. There's probably multiple, maybe 2 or 3, but let's say this. The old norm was if a rookie class has 50 rookies, 5 of them will have value by the end of the year, and 40 of them will be a lot less than they were at the beginning of the year, and maybe 5 will be holding some value, right? And then 3 years from now, maybe 5 of those 45 that slip will come back up, right? But a vast majority of the herd just gets crushed. And the thing is, there's so much hype. Like, for example, I understand it. I don't want to say names and hate on any specific players, but there are so many players that are just never, ever, ever going to be champions. They're never going to have a ring. They're not going to have the numbers. They're just going to be Ewings and Patrick and Moses Malones and Carl Stockton, which are phenomenal players, but have no real card value and no historical significance unless you know who those players are. My kids don't know who the hell Malone, Stockton, and Ewing are, right? And that's just the way it is. So, for all the daily fantasy sports players and sports gamblers were looking to play, I agree with that. That's a big reason that the money was there, because it was an easy way to gamble. And now they're coming back. And again, if I'm a gambler, I can get better returns and other things. Like, that's why, for example, another reason that the sealed wax has gone up is a lot of these guys who got into cards realized the easiest way to make money was simply in just buying and selling sealed wax and not having to understand the product at all, right? How many people do you know that are baseball guys that are flipping basketball or soccer products? They don't know those products. They never even paid attention to them in past years. But since there's money in them now, they're flipping it. Are they bad people? No. They're just taking their knowledge of sports in their sport and flipping a hot sport that they see, or they trade it for a sport they want. So, and correction, is not a bad thing. Like, we need to maybe thin the herd some, okay? In my opinion, there's just a lot of people that are in sports cards for the wrong reasons. And I think they will move on to other things they can do. And I don't want to get too political on what wrong is, right? If you're here to make money, that's not wrong. There's some shady ways you can make money. I think that's like, I think of the Wild West, and you hear the stories about the merchant that would walk in come in with his wagon. He'd be selling the elixirs and all this stuff. And people like, yeah, I got a stomachache. And he was basically bull crap. There's just a lot of that in sports cards today, right? So let me see. There's some great comments here. I'm not gonna debate that. I think there are some players that will be great vintage in the future. I will say again, there's no doubt in my mind that we're overprinting. Panini is overprinting, guys. That they're the destroyer of the hobby. There's no way we're gonna look back in 10 years from now and go, yeah, Panini did a great job protecting the hobby in 2020. No, we're not. We're not. Like, let me ask you another question. Where the hell is the Panini Kids program they were going to launch in 2021? Did they realize they're making too much money to even launch that now? And again, I'd say this too. Let's go back to just collecting. Do it because you enjoy it. Don't do it because you're trying to make money. And that's, again, I'll say that too. When I was collecting years ago, you sold to basically supply your habit, right? So you bought a $500 box and you got a $500 card, like, great. If it wasn't a card you liked, you sold it so you could get back into the game and you keep moving. Too many people get a card like, well, I'm going to grade it. I'm going to get the most money I can for it. I'm going to maximize my return. I don't know. I also think too, I've said this before. I saw a video yesterday, a good video on how to know when to sell. Well, I've always said this. You should know when to sell when you buy. when you purchase something or acquire something, you should have some exit strategy or some vision of where you think you're going to be getting out. And that's just a good lesson for everything in life, right? Okay, I'm way over my time. I really love the comments and the feedback, and I got 16 viewers, man. But I got to get ready for work. I got to listen to Texas Card Dude. If you guys have not followed him, Texas Card Dude is on shortly. And let me just make a couple shout outs. Texas Card Dude, huge fan of, met him through Hobby Hotline, and he inspired this show. I watched him doing his show every morning. I'm like, you know what? I should do that. Instead of me frantically putting together content every day, I'm going to go live every day and just talk. So I like that. He inspired me. Another one, House of Cards. I think it's HAUS of Cards. Great channel. You guys aren't watching him, but check him out. I'll drop the link below. He inspired me in the NFT stuff. Really explained to me, gave me the aha moment of what NFTs are and why they're cool, and what the potential is. So very excited about that as well. And I hope, and there's a lot of other guys I give some shout outs to. You know, I'm always a big fan of Comeback Card Investor, Dustin, Costa Rica Cards is in here. I will give shout outs to Pure Graded X and the Grading Authority. So guys, thank you all very much. I will say, by the way, today's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm picking my boys up tonight. They're coming to stay a long weekend with me. So I'm going to take them to Target tomorrow morning. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to do some scouting today. Now, I say that because I don't know what the plan will be tomorrow for the live. It will not be at 8 o'clock. I might go live from the parking lot before. I might wait and go live at lunch or in the afternoon and maybe rip some stuff with my sons. I don't know yet what tomorrow will be. So I will definitely let you know. But I will tell you the show will be back on Monday morning at about 8:10, 8:15. And all next week, we'll be running again. And guys, again, thank you very much. Really enjoying this. Love the support. Let's help each other. Treat everybody the way you want to be treated. The way you want to be treated. Golden rule, right? Stay healthy. Stay safe. Thank you very much, man.